This is Bryan Kerchal.
We had an angler come through the Bass Federation named Bryan Kerchal.
Bryan came into the sport from the Federation open-minded.
I don't think anybody ever thought that a Federation guy would win the Classic.
When Kerchal won, it was real.
He ended up being a hero to so many people that have that dream that can they be the best? Well, Bryan did it, maybe I can do it too.
We need 8 pounds and 15 ounces to see if you're going to win this tournament. 11 pounds, 4 ounces, market. There's your winner of the Bassmaster Classic. 23 years old, Bryan Kerchal.
The year is 1994, and the event is the World Championship Bassmaster Classic. The fishing world is stunned as a mostly unknown angler from small-town America wins the sport's most valuable trophy. Young Bryan Kerchal has beaten the odds and is sitting on top of the world. The story begins in the small New England community of Newtown, Connecticut, where a young boy gets an opportunity very early on to discover something special. Something that is destined to be his life's passion.
In 1977, we took a trip, family took a trip to visit my father, who had a cottage on the Fox River in Cary, Illinois. And Bryan, being a young kid, was always looking for something to do. He took this rod out and on the end of the dock and started fishing and started catching catfish.
It was almost as if that awakened something in him. From that day on, he had a passion and a love for fishing that never ended.
I think it was about 1984 when he subscribed to Bassmaster magazine, and I remember him coming down the driveway and he had his copy of Bassmaster magazine with Rick Clunn on the cover. Rick had just won another Bassmasters Classic.
And at that point, he realized that was his dream, that becoming a professional bass angler and someday winning the Bassmaster Classic was a dream.
His job was at the ground round. He would go to work at 4 o'clock, get off at 12 or 1, come home, go to bed, get up early in the morning, go fishing all day, come home in time to go to work at 4, and that was his life. He basically fished during the day, worked at night. Bryan joined the Housatonic Valley Bassmasters Club in summer of 1990.
He had a passion and now a goal, and joining a Bassmaster-affiliated local club set the wheels in motion. These clubs were all over the country, serving to educate, organize, and most of all, fire the competitive spirit. Now he could develop his tournament game as a member of the Bass Federation.
The Bass Federation is our grassroots sport organization. Like in other sports, you have the bottom level, the ground level, that shows you how to get into it, that teaches you the basics, that lets you compete. And that's what the Federation is.
I thought I got a bite.
At the time, going back to the 90s, if you lived in Alabama or Georgia or Texas or Florida, you had your pick at clubs and local events and competition every weekend. For a guy from the Northeast, it was our only real outlet to compete against other guys that were good. The Federation provided camaraderie, education, a peer group, but it provided a way to compete. It was a big moment, and to be going to the Bass Federation National Championship for a chance to make the Classic, it was a dream.
Oh, I'm ready. Are you ready, Mike? Look at this. 14 pounds, 1 ounce, takes you to the Classic. Watch the scales. Total weight, 14 pounds, 10 ounces. 14-10. Mark it, 14-10. He did it.
I vividly remember the feeling of being a Federation angler, and it was about that patch, and it was a way for an average guy to make a classic, to get national recognition. It was our dream. It was our way to that dream.
Never give up! Never give up!
4 years after winning the Bass Nation National Championship in 1999, Mike Iaconelli would fish his 4th Bassmaster Classic. He would win the title in New Orleans, becoming the 2nd angler to achieve that feat, nearly a decade after Bryan Kerchal had done it in 1994.
The Federation was Bryan's family. You know, that was his home, the Federation. I believe in dreams, and so I never had a moment's doubt in supporting him in following that dream, even though I really didn't know what the end would be.
You're watching The Cast, presented by Bass Pro Shops.
A small-town kid from Connecticut who had become an aspiring tournament angler gets his first big break when he qualifies for the Bassmaster Federation National Championships held in Pine Bluff, Arkansas in 1993.
For some, going fishing might be fun and games, but this is the B.A.S.S. National Championship. It's the final step on the big leap to reach the World Championship of Bass Fishing, the Bassmasters Classic.
Next man coming up is Bryan Kerchal from Newton, Connecticut. He'll be one of the youngest men ever to qualify for the Classic from the Federation ranks. And watch, folks, look at here, youngest fisherman in the tournament, and folks, he has blown the roof. Bryan Kerchal's weight, 17 pounds, 10 ounces, bingo, what a fish.
A solid performance on the Arkansas River. And Bryan Kerchal is able to finish the Federation Championship in 5th place overall. That means he's qualified to fish in the 1993 Bassmaster Classic at Logan Martin Lake in Alabama. But his showing at that World Championship was not world class.
If you don't do better than one bass, you'll be stripping hamburgers the rest of your life.
Bryan fished the Classic and made it to the stage, but finished in last place. Undeterred, he set about immediately to fish his way back into the Classic as soon as possible.
Bryan came into the sport from the Federation open-minded. He'd had some negative results, but he didn't let those negative results, tell him that he couldn't be the best.
When anglers aspire to fish professionally, they close their eyes and they say, I want to fish the Bassmaster Classic. That's the goal, just to fish it, just to be on that stage.
Kerchal worked hard and earned his 2nd chance to make the Classic the following year.
Is to win another trip to the Bassmasters Classic. Put it on me, brother. That's what it's about right there.
In any competition you enter after fishing on the pro trail, it just gives you such a boost in confidence, and you learn a lot from these guys, and you realize how good they are, and once you've been competing against them and done well, you really feel like you can do well any other place you go, and all you can do is just go fishing and hope for the best.
There he is. I'll take him. Thank you, Lord.
His return trip to the Federation Championship would be a triumph as he takes the win this time.
8:15, baby! 8:15.
The championship of the Federation. It was huge for Bryan Kerchal and would mean a return trip to the Bassmaster Classic. Ironically, this big win would be his first ever win with the Bassmaster organization.
How many tournaments have you ever won before you won this one?
This is my first one, Ray.
This is the first tournament he ever won other than club tournaments. To qualify in 2 years for this tournament, and then to qualify for the Classic and win your division last year, and then again this year, and then to blow it all and win it all and take home $15,000 is rather remarkable.
His star was burning brighter than ever. And coming up next was a shot at redemption in a return to the Classic.
It is right now 6:20. Okay? Here's switch hooked up.
Try and
Go
get it
ahead.
today.
1994, and his second Classic in a row is underway at High Rock Lake in North Carolina. And by day number 2, he finds himself much closer to his ultimate goal.
Now, Bryan Kerchal, let me tell you something. This is the only man in history to ever qualify for the Bassmaster Classic on 2 consecutive years. Not to the climbing of the ladder on the pro side, but he came here as a federation man. He works in a get-and-go sort of a short-order restaurant, and he qualified for this classic last year by way of the federation, and again set the record by qualifying once again. Bryan Kerchal, young Bryan Kerchal, 23 years old. Come on, Bryan, talk to me. 18, come on, Federation. There's the man. This will do it, I believe. Do it, Kendrick. 12-14 to take the lead. He's taking the lead. 14 pounds. 1 ounce beating. Bryan Kerchal, hamburger flipper from Newtown, Connecticut.
I gained a lot of experience this year and a lot of confidence, and it was really because of the confidence, I think, that I was able to put some fish together in this tournament. Last year I really had no confidence going into the tournament. I didn't do real well, but this year the confidence is really what's doing it for me. I'm going to go out and try again tomorrow, and I think I might have something tomorrow.
Great. We'll try to catch some today.
Well, the practice is over. It's ready for the serious business of catching bass. Headquartered in Greensboro, North Carolina on High Rock Lake. You can see the interest from spectators, thousands of them on the shore watching these heroes go out. And these 40 top anglers are ready. We're right here ready to launch, and the fishermen are ready. The crowds are here by the thousands watching these boys take off. It's gonna be an incredible day. All right, gentlemen, if you would, check your life vest, check your kill switches, and we'll be ready to go in just about 60 seconds.
This is it. This is the last morning of the Bassmaster Classic on High Rock Lake, and it's a shootout. It's less than 6 pounds difference in the top 10. Bryan Kerchal, who's our leader, is a Federation angler. He's the last boat in the first flight, and Ray's just about to let him go.
Well, the Classic is one tournament, and even though it's so hard to win, you can take a guy in the Federation, and he's got as good a chance as anybody if he gets on the right fish during that 3 or 4 day tournament to win that Classic.
Hey, Bryan, feeling the pressure on this? Yeah, a lot of pressure. I feel pretty good, though. I think I'm going to go out and catch him today. I'm not too worried about it, so I'm just going to go fishing.
It gave hope that a guy flipping hamburgers could win the Bassmaster Classic, and that's what then was the Bass Federation, now the Bass Nation was built on. That's like the founding principles of it, is that your everyday working guy can make it to the top level of the sport.
Bryan Kerchal everything worked out right for him. I know right where he was fishing. I was right there by him. I can tell you exactly the moment I heard that whistle the first time. It was a lightning storm, and I was heading under a bridge with about 5 other guys, and he was out there blowing that whistle, and I thought, man, what is that idiot doing? Well, he was kicking our butt. That's what he was doing.
After Bryan won the Wrangler Bass National Championship in April of '94, he came back and he was fishing local Connecticut Federation tournaments. And he was paired one day with Roy Rickus.
It was a toy, basically, a little toy fish whistle that Roy always carried with him. He had bought it at a bait shop somewhere, and he thought it was cute, and he kept it in his pocket. He gave it to Bryan. He said, you take this fish whistle, and it'll bring you luck.
And Bryan wasn't really one for lucky pieces or good luck charms, but he took it and took it to the Classic for Roy.
He's right in the hunt. It's going to be really close. Oh, there's a fish. Bryan's got a fish.
Good
maybe.
fish.
Oh, that's a good fish. That'll help him a lot right there. Right.
Woo!
Yes.
Needed that one.
I know.
Where's that whistle? Here you go, Roy.
That right there puts Bryan Kerchal solid back in the lead.
One
He's
more.
right back in it. You know, Bryan just showed us why he's in this Bassmasters Classic and why he may win this Bassmasters Classic, because he's made a little adjustment. Oh, he's got another one, maybe. All right. Tried to jump in the boat. That's it, brother. Yes. That's going to put him a limit. That'll give him a limit. That gives him a good solid 10 pounds. That means the competition's really got to kick him to catch him. It was close, and it may still be close for all we know, but for all the information we have says Bryan's winning right now. This may be the first Federation winner.
I'm just awestruck. I don't even know what to say. Thank God for the whistle. That's all I can say.
Leading the tournament yesterday, Bryan Kerchal. Young Bryan Kerchal, 23 years old. Hamburger flipper from Newtown, Connecticut.
At the towards the end of the weigh-in, one of the fishermen came up and told his relatives back that Tommy Biffle had won it. And I said, no, don't worry about that. Bryan's won it. And he came in second to last.
5 bass, 5. He's got to have 19 pounds and 3 ounces. He wins. If it's less than that, he loses. Kerchal wins. And he doesn't make it. 18 pounds and 13 ounces, but it's still a great job. Kerchal is your winner. Kerchal is your winner. Runner-up, Tommy Biffle. There he is, folks. First man ever, 23 years old. There's your winner.
Bryan Kerchal was truly living the dream. But tragically, his time to take it all in was cut short.
We had American Eagle Flight 3379 from Greensboro, North Carolina to Raleigh-Durham International.
The Jetstream Super 31 plane was carrying 19 passengers and 2 crew members.
4.5 months after winning the Bassmaster Classic, he lost his life in the crash of a commuter airline flight.
I'll never forget walking into the office that day, several months later when he had lost his life in the plane crash early that morning. It was a somber, somber place because he meant so much to bass and to the bass fishing world.
Bryan Kerchal's story will never be forgotten. And after more than 50 years of the Bassmaster Classic, he remains as the only amateur winner of the title.
You're watching The Cast, presented by Bass Pro Shops.
Every sport has that guy that gives inspiration to people, right? Or several people. – 2011 was a special one. I had never been to a Bassmaster Classic. It was my first one. Kerchal, for me, was one of those initial inspiring people.
Let's take a look at the anglers on top as we finish 2 days of angling and head into this final championship day.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Look at that thing! Look at that thing!
Brandon Polinick from Idaho, representing the Bass Federation Nation, that amalgamation of bass clubs all around the world. And this young man is 23 years old, going toe-to-toe with the best in the business.
So when Kerchal won the Classic, he had a fish whistle, and when he caught a bass, every time he would blow this whistle.
Where's that whistle? Here you go, Roy.
They ended up making replicas of it, and his family had ran it, and one of my wrestling coaches got a hold of his parents and got a hold of one of these replica whistles and gave it to me.
When Kerchal won, that was a big deal. And to be here and have some of the comparisons that he had, in his honor, I wanted to do one thing. I have one of his fish whistles, and I wanted to blow that for him.
At that time, I was the first guy to accept the elite invitation as a Bass Nation guy. And then obviously a lot of guys had fished the Classic through the nation. That was a time for me to pay tribute to him, like to say a thank you and remind people of what he did, because he opened the doors for a lot of us that, you know, come from the other side of the country or don't have the funds to make it any other way. Anybody could make it. Unfortunate that we never got to see how good he actually could have became. I think the cool thing is that now, like, I got to call his family and tell them when he got inducted into the Hall of Fame. I've been able to have conversations with them. I wish that I would have got to meet him, you know, just to see. I've never heard anybody say a bad thing about him. And all the people that are still here and were around him then only have good things to say. So it would have been cool to see how far he would have came and what he was capable of.